First questions will come from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hello, Marion. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
My first question, can you walk us through getting that call that you had tested positive and just that immediate aftermath that pushed back the fight?
It was about 7:30 that morning. They had called me and I'm like, wait a minute. Nobody calls me from the UFC at 7:30 in the morning. And I'm like, this is probably not good news. And I answered the phone and unfortunately I had tested for COVID and my heart literally just dropped. I was completely devastated because I had felt fine. I was just at a point where I was just like, God. So when I spoke with my manager, because I ended up giving him a call, he's like, let's have a plan. Let's let them know, hey, we want to fight here. We don't want to wait 2 months later. We want to fight about this date since you feel fine. So we were able to let them know, let the matchmakers know when we wanted to fight and set up something for us. So it was bad and then it was good. So here we are.
Did you deal with any symptoms afterward, or were you more asymptomatic?
I felt a little groggy the next day and I wouldn't stay in the house. I was like, nope, I'm gonna go out for a run. So I took my dogs, we went out for a run. And I think besides feeling groggy that day, I had no taste and smell, which was that was terrible. Not being able to taste or smell anything. And then when you did eat stuff, tasted sour like an orange. It just tasted like it was rotten. So I think that was one of the main symptoms that I got.
When you have a situation like this, so same opponent, you did the whole camp, but now the fight gets moved back, what kind of things do you go back to work on in the gym? Because technically speaking, all the work was already done before the first fight day, right? So what was it to go back to train?
We just stay on course. We were set to peak at that time. So we come down slowly and then we try to re-engineer our camp to peak again. And so that's basically what we stayed on. We stayed on our timing, we stayed on our game plan and what we wanted to work on, just for the most part, just staying sharp.
I know you also work obviously as a teacher with more schools reopening. What's your situation? Are you seeing your students again soon, or where is it at the school you teach at?
So before I flew out, we had an emergency meeting with a lot of the teachers and the administration, and they let us know that April 6th, for the school that I work for, that they were going to open it up. So all next week when I get back, it's going to be all about planning and getting the kids back, but it's not to a regular schedule. I have about 40 kids in each one of my classes, and I'll only get to see 14 of them at a time. The others will still remain on distance learning. So it's still kind of a weird situation. It's not ideal, but at least it's something to normalcy.
Well, congratulations. Certainly, I'm sure it's going to be very nice to see everyone and just have that interaction again. Marian, I would be remiss if I don't ask this. It has not gone your way the last few fights. Quite simply, is this a back against the wall, do or die situation for your time in the UFC?
I've been told just to, keep moving forward. As a heptathlete or a collegiate heptathlete, you had 7 events and in 2 days to do those 7 events. And if you had a bad event, that was something that you couldn't focus on because you had to gear up and get ready for the next event. So as I move forward, not thinking, I see that they're back there. I see that those fights, they were good fights, and they did not go my way. But that's not something that I'm going to harp on. And hey, this one's all my do or die. I'm going into this fight with the same mentality. I have to get in there. I have to win. That's my job. So I'm not focused too much on the previous fights. I got to let those go. I can't dwell on it. I got to let that past go and just keep moving forward.
Thank you, Marian, and best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Zach with UFC.com.
But you'll still answer
Okay.
so obviously you have a nice show. What have you seen from her?
Well, she was the fighter champion, obviously at 145. Long, she's tall, she's lanky. She likes to clinch, and so that's kind of what we've seen from her.
where have you kind of felt that?
Say that again? I
How
can
have
barely hear you.
seen, yeah, how have you seen both of them?
I'd say, you know, during peak moments when either I'm moving forward on them or my back is up against the wall, I feel that things that we've done to drill in the past, I mean, they just kind of are put together in the spur of the moment.
A lot of people might look. Oh, if you're like,
I'm always underrated and overlooked. I honestly, until you said it, I wouldn't have known who was a favorite or not. It's not something that I look up. It's not something that I concern myself with just because I've always been the underdog.
We'll go next to Jim Varsalone with the Miami Herald. Your line is open.
Thank you. I'm curious, as a teacher, what has it been like as a fighter and as a teacher? And are you like the cool teacher because you are a fighter with the students?
I like to think I'm the cool teacher. I think they don't know what to think of me just because I'm very animated, I'm very loud, I'm very in your face, let's go movement. So I sometimes when they look at me, they're like, God, you're drinking too much coffee, Miss Reneau. I think you need to slow down on the coffee. And I'm like, that's just naturally me. So I like to think I'm the cool teacher.
What has it been like for you being a part of UFC and continuing this journey?
You know, I cannot complain. I feel that being a part of this journey has set me up for where both myself and my husband are now in our lives, where we were able to open up our own gym and, you know, give back to our community, not only to the adults but the kids in our community, especially during this time. So I feel that this journey has just opened so many doors. My dots are starting to connect where they need to be, and if you would have asked me, gosh, 15 years ago, if I foreseen this in my future, I was in a bad spot. I would have said no. This this has leveled me out. This movement, this whatever whatever God had planned for me, it's worked.
And for this particular fight, who will be in your corner? Did you have anyone different with your training team brought in for this fight or business as usual?
Pretty much business as usual. We made a couple of adjustments with one of the corners, felt a little bit more comfortable. So I'll be joined by Michael Craddock, Jim West, and then also my husband Armando Perez.
All the best and thank you.
Thank you very much, Marion. You're all set.